Do I need to move it?
No, you're good. It's on.
Oh, you good. Just so you know, I already started recording.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
So whenever you guys want to start, y'all can just cut this part out.
Okay, yeah.
Or if you want to save it for the bloopers or something, y'all can do that too.
in the scene, behind the scenes.
Behind the scenes, right here.
Okay. Welcome to Triad Hip Hop. This is Howard, your host. To my right, again, we're here with the great Curtis. Curtis Florence, my man from NY. Today we got a couple things to talk about. Some somber news, unfortunately. If we heard last night that the educated rapper, he passed away from UTFO. So we'll be getting into that. Also tonight we will talk about Big L, since we pass over his death date between podcasts and whatnot. Big L was like one of the greatest, probably underrated rappers. Definitely remember DITC with Laura Finesse, OC, Fat Joe, Diamond D, Showbiz and AG. Yep. So I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of Big L, but I mean, just in case some people don't. Punchline King, pretty much, like, lyrics are just phenomenal. If it wasn't for Big L, it probably wouldn't be no Jay-Z, roughly. And a couple other MCs, honestly, but yeah. But those are things we want to talk about. Let's talk about the Big L 529 99. Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you really think about it, he wasn't in the game that long, and it made such a huge impact. You know what I mean? Just like he had the Biggie effect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They weren't able to make that much music, but in such a short period of time, they were just rolling with it, and people was like, "Wow." I mean, so that's the thing about Big L. He was an excellent lyricist, and he made a big impact on hip hop culture in general because people talk about him to this day. You know what I mean? And he passed. What year was that?
It was 99.
I think it was like 99. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, we in 2017, so he definitely made an impact because there ain't too many MCs you still talk about. You know what I mean? After that long period of time.
Yeah, I mean, now it's just like some people get in here now. Some of the young rappers and stuff, they'll make some stuff and then they'll go away. But you don't really talk about them, unfortunately. I mean, you got a lot of the younger generation. And then what trips me out, there's like a lot of these younger rappers who are dying off. I can't really get into some names, unfortunately. We'll do that next time. But there's a lot of them, that passed away. I mean, and there's one young one that I can kind of recall, as far as like with Joey Badass and all the Capital Steez.
Yeah.
But as far as anything else, yeah, who Dope B? Why the world you gonna be over him? Anyway.
Well, yeah.
You know what that dude right there.
You know Dope B, let me find out. T.I. got murdered at his home show.
Dang!
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Y'all know what I'm talking about now, right?
Yeah, I heard about it. Yeah, I don't. He wasn't nobody I was really that into, but I heard about what happened.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean that's crazy, man. I mean you're losing your life, and because a lot of rappers nowadays they just trying to bring in the violence into the music more so than they trying to be. They're doing that more than being creative with the music. You know what I mean? So it's like you keep trying to live that lifestyle, but you're trying to be a rapper. You can't do them both. You know what I mean? You got to pick one, be one or the other.
I can't. Not saying that I blame Pac for that, but what I'm saying, a lot of people thought what Pac was doing, that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
And really, what he was trying to do, he was trying to get people to really listen to what he had to say, and then kind of show people the way later on.
Right.
Right. But a lot of people think like, and I guess we could do a little segment about Pac too, because since he's his birthday's coming up, and then also the biography.
Yeah.
So we'll skim a little bit about that. Next week we'll probably go a little more in depth.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, a lot of people think that, you know, well, you know, we do the whole, you know, the thugged out thing, and which, you know, if that's, you know, that's your life, that's, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, you should do this. You know, this is, I mean, that's what hip hop's about. It's expression. You know what I'm saying? The expression of your lifestyle, or you know, whatever you want to, you know, whatever you want to bring to the table. It's that expression. You know,
Most definitely.
but you know, sometimes what you express, you got to be careful about, you know, what you're trying to convey to people, because you know they might take it like, oh, this dude right here, you know, he in the street, you know, he in the video, he's stacking the ones, just hundreds.
Right.
You know, that may not even be him in real life. He might
Right.
just be, you know, some of the, and that's the thing too about this industry now. You know, it's more of a hustle than it is anything now. I don't think it's much of an art,
Yeah.
unfortunately, anymore.
That's true. It's very much a hustle, you know what I mean, more so than the art these days, because people are just tired of, you know, and I get it, you know what I mean? People are just tired of being broke, and, you know, this is easy, legitimate, fast money, you know what I mean? So they're like, why not? Why not jump on it? You know what I mean? I got to throw a few words together, get a nice beat, make some bread, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's very easy to jump in the game now, and, you know, but it's too much exploitation now, you know what I mean? It's like they just want you to talk about that stuff, but then they get mad at you when, you know, the stuff makes the news. It's like this is what's going on in the hood. You know, people want to talk about it. So, but you know, you just hope that they don't keep, I don't know, encouraging that lifestyle. You know what I mean? You don't want to encourage it, you know, but there's nothing wrong with talking about it. You know, this is what I grew up on, and you know, my life was hard. But when you like, you know, I'm about to go cop this brick, you know, after I get done with this song, you know, that's really not helping. You know what I mean? It's like, leave it alone now that you done made some money off of music. Leave it alone now. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing, you know, about Big L. I could say, you know, he even had lines. Yeah, I went from the block selling rocks to rocking out shows. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he was like, look, you know, if you're gonna do that, that's fine. But there's other ways, you know, outside of that. You know what I'm saying? Like going back to his, you know, Big L's legacy.
Right.
But you know, that was something that I liked about, you know, Street Struck. You know, that's something he was talking about. Like, look, you know, I say this stuff on my songs. I talk about my life. I rap about it. But at the same time, like, you know, if you ain't about that life, or you trying to, you know, if you go up another way, you need to leave the streets alone, because you will, you know, you will get hurt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one thing I would have to say about his legacy.
Yeah.
That kind of, you know, that stands out.
But yeah, let's talk about the educated rapper for a minute. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to the educated rapper. You know, his group UTFO was real big for hip hop in the 80s, because they brought along the whole Roxanne competition, and because of that, you know, it sparked a lot of other people to join in, because it was just like,
yeah, because you had the real Roxanne, and then Roxanne Shantae.
Yeah, like Roxanne's grandmother, all kinds of crazy. Roxanne's a man. I had an album that had all of them on it. It was like a whole Roxanne album. It was like Roxanne's a man, Roxanne's grandmother, Roxanne's revenge, the real Roxanne. It was all of them on one record. It was pretty dope too, you know what I mean? But you know, it was all for kicks, you know what I mean?
They don't play those records anymore, hardly. I mean, I've heard maybe like Roxanne Revenge, you know, maybe one time. And you know, since you're a little older than me, so you know, so only thing I've heard, you know, the Roxanne song, and then you know, Roxanne Revenge.
Yeah.
And I seen like a documentary on VH1 where they had the beef, and they really couldn't stand each other. But after they got older, they, you know, they really kind of kept connected. And the lady that's Roxanne, she's actually got a major in psychology, something like that.
Yeah, Roxanne Shantae.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she because she said that after she was working with what was the record label? I think it was Cold Chillin' at the time. They promised her that they would pay for her college, and they thought she wasn't really going to ever want to do it. And then one day she was like, "Nah, you said you were going to do it now." cough up that money. I'm going to school.
Yeah.
And she went and got her degree, PhD. So, that's good, man.
Yeah.
They thought she was just going to go back to living in the streets and just not doing nothing with her life. She was like, nah, that's not how it's going to be.
I think that's a different energy as far as like certain females, like at that, especially at that time. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a certain, because dudes, we're thinking about, oh, well, we're going to get this money.
Right.
And, what I'm saying, family education, all that. Not, what I'm saying, and not saying that, having an education is going to stop you from making money, because you can do it. I mean, there's far too many things to count, other people's success and other people's, systems and stuff to do it.
Right.
But it's just funny, like, women kind of got a different mindset when it comes to like, well, let me go ahead and do this. So in case something something happens, I can fall back on, I can fall back on this.
Yep, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It really, I was thinking about this yesterday, how rappers back then were role models for kids versus rappers now, how they're role models for kids. Because when you think about it, the educated rapper, you know what I mean? He was like, I'm not just some stupid guy, you know what I mean? I'm actually an educated guy. And so, it didn't give you nothing negative to think about, you know what I mean? It made you think, okay, I need to be smart to be a rapper, you know what I mean? It's like nobody will choose a name like that nowadays. You know what I mean? It's got to be something tough, you know what I mean? And so it's like back then, I think kids had better role models when it came to rap, because when you looked at a rapper, it made you feel like this is not just something I can throw some words to. You know what I mean? I have to really, if I want to be like Rakim, I got to learn to be scientific. If I want to learn how to be like, UTFO, I got to be a little more educated. I can't just put words together. I got to be, skillful with it. And it's like now, they good, but they just throwing nursery rhyme type stuff out.
A lot of these rappers too, now they are like, what you say, educated. I think T.I. has like a education psychology, And you have a couple others, And I'm not saying T.I. dumbs and stuff down. What I am saying is you got some of these people. Like, I think Lil Wayne's smart.
Has a college
education. But it's like a lot of these people, they kind of
you wouldn't know it.
Yeah, but they dumb stuff down.
Right.
They
want to make their music. They want to make their money, and they more so concerned with, if I try to act too smart, I ain't think nobody gonna buy it. Whereas back in the day, if you listen to what Keith Murray was doing when he first came out, he was a college educated dude, and he was throwing out them big words, and it made you think like, wow, I didn't think you could, make super smart words like that sound so
cool.
Yeah. So, he was one of the first ones that really made me think, okay, so it's okay to be a college educated rapper, you know what I mean?
So, I mean, that's the thing, though. Rest in peace, educated rap. So I gotta ask you this.
Yeah.
UTFO or Houdini?
I guess.
I like me some Houdini with the freaks come out at night. The freaks come out.
I think Houdini had more of a catalog, but I like UTFO's style of music a little bit better. Houdini was a little more party rap, so UTFO, they was a little more lyrical. You know what I mean?
Yeah, UTFO had some, I just think they kind of a little similar.
Yeah, they are very similar.
Houdini had Friends and One Love. That was kind of like
Come Out at Night.
Yeah.
So, they have more things to think about. When you think about UTFO, you mostly think about Roxanne. I think they only had one album. Whereas I think Houdini had at least 2, maybe 3. So, you know what I mean? So, it's one of those things. But they are very similar, though. But if I had to pick one, I liked UTFO a little bit more. Yeah.
Educated rapper for here, behalf of Triad hip hop, rest in peace. Bless your family, and those go out to your family and everything. So let's go ahead and get into this segment. Let's talk about graffiti.
Graffiti, yeah.
Is that a lost art?
Well, I think it's somewhat lost, but it's not all the way lost. You know what I mean? Because if you look around, they're building a lot more murals when it comes to like the rappers who have passed on. You always seeing that kind of stuff. So people out there still doing it. It's just that they don't do it like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I think they might have scared people. I don't know if they scared them or what. Because I know when I was a kid, when we used to tag up, we used to always get chased around by cops. You know what I mean? If they saw you, they made you feel like you better not do this again. So I think that's what made most people stop doing it. But it's still going on. I don't think it's completely dead or lost, if you will. It's just not as popular as it used to be. You know what I mean?
But it's always been there. It actually
Right.
kind of came in when hip hop was coming along. They just kind of just integrated. But the thing of it is, it's not corporate can't make money off of it, and I think that's really the one reason, that they kind of they're not gonna. I guess what you would say, elevate the writer, the graffiti artist.
Right.
But the thing of it too is, if you did that, it was like, well, it'd be kind of like supporting vandalism. So
Right.
I get it on the corporate side,
Right.
but at the same time, it's like that's the part of hip hop of expression. It's a lot. It really is. It's something that ain't really talked about a whole lot. And there's really very little knowledge on it. Everybody talks about the MC, and then it used to be the DJ, but now it's like the MC,
right,
or rapper, or mumbler.
But
you know what I'm saying. Yeah. And then you have then maybe the DJ, which I might have to talk about turntablism next week. But DJ is still kind of credible.
It's a very credible art. They kind of tried to phase it out, the record companies, because they felt like we don't really need you. You know what I mean? We just want to focus on the rapper now. But that kind of made me mad when I first started seeing people like Coogee Rap without Polo, Rakim without Eric B. And I was like, man, I kind of missed the two of them being together.
Yeah, because that's the thing with most of your groups. Most of your groups had like the DJ and the rapper, or a DJ, two rappers, three rappers.
Right.
That's why you can like the Gang Stars, the Cypress Hills, Run DMCs, the I'm trying to think of another, Beastie Boys.
Yeah,
the Beastie Boys. Third Base, House of Pain. EPMD. Yeah. And I think the DJ kind of has that element. It's kind of like, they're the MC is going to have the the force, the driving force, but the DJ is kind of one like the drum, if you will. He's kind of like he's the one that keeps everything together, But you can get somebody a producer or a glorified beat machine, but but it started out with the DJ.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And they still have DJ competitions going on, but they're not as popular. So I posted a clip on my Masters of Hip Hop page,
which y'all should check out.
You definitely check that out. Masters of Hip Hop. So I try to every now and then post stuff like that, like the breakdancing challenges and DJ challenges. It's all still going on. It's just not as well known. You know what I mean?
And that's another thing I was going to say. The breaking, that's probably like the third element. When I was in my prime, if y'all can believe that shit. But anyway, I used to break. I was on the verge of being nice. I wasn't nothing to write about. But I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's how I was. I was just alright. I used to break. You know what I mean? I was more into the boogie, and I did breaking, but I just wasn't as good as I wanted to be. So when I tried to do stuff like the windmills, I couldn't keep it going for a long time. So I could do stuff like the worm, the spider. Me and my brother used to do the head spin. I got a mark right over here. Like you can only see it with my hair grow out, but I got a permanent bald spot right over here somewhere from when we was head spinning. He had me on top. My head just hit right up against something.
Dang.
It was like a pole from like a staircase, the little corner pole when you going up a staircase. So like the little edge of it, and I was like bleeding and whatnot.
Dang.
But we had fun. I was sitting there giggling and laughing. So but that's that's one of the things you never forget.
And to say that you can cheat doing the head spin too, like you just get the motorcycle helmet.
Oh yeah, we never did that, but yeah, you could. We never did that one.
Yeah.
We just knew what kind of clothes to wear that would make it slide a little bit better. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah, I used to be able to. Man, I used to be able. I couldn't windmill. I could do, for one reason, I could spin on. I don't know what the move's called, but I could spin on my shoulder. If I get enough force, I could spin. I mean, I can't do that shit now. I'm just saying when I could. Yeah, I could do that. I could turtle. Man, I love doing turtles.
Oh yeah.
The turtle, and actually, I could fake the turtle too. Like how you can fake a move. Yeah, I can fake one. Like what I'm saying, like this shit hot. But my turtle be going to the side though. It wouldn't go all the way around. I used to fake, man. I used to fake. Like,
I loved it, man. That's one thing. I only stopped when my friends stopped because it was like we used to go around battling people, and when they stopped doing it, I was like, "Why we ain't battling no more?" They was like, "Nah." I was like, "All right."
And that's the thing too, man. It kept you in shape. I said,
oh yeah.
I wish I could go back to it. Honestly, sometimes
I stayed puny when I was doing that.
Yeah,
I stayed puny. So, but yep. So, what's our next topic today?
Okay, we're going to talk about politics and hip hop. Recently, y'all heard about our Lord knows I shouldn't be, talking about her to give her any. Anywho, Kathy Griffin. Y'all did see the piece about, Donald Trump getting his head cut off with that expose talking about his art. I will say this, I will say it crossed the line. They gave her a little flack over it. Well, I mean, of course, CNN, fired her and stuff. She up there crying like, "Oh, I'm not gonna even get a job no more." But I still don't think it was taken to the effect of what Snoop Dogg did in his video with and honestly, I haven't had a chance to see it. I've seen bits and clips of it, but when Donald Trump looked like a clown and he came with a gun and it just says "pow," like he didn't even shoot him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like the Joker, and everybody got flack like, "Oh, well, Snoop Dogg shouldn't do that because he's a role model for the kids." I'm like, first of all, when the fuck was Snoop Dogg was a fucking role model? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Snoop. It's just that he's not a role model. You know what I'm saying? He's not a role model. I mean, and that's not taking nothing against him, taking nothing away from him or anything, but he's not a role model.
But see, you know what it is though? When it comes to famous rappers, it's like they become a role model, without even trying. Because even though they're not trying to, Snoop ain't never tried to be nobody's role model, but kids will still look up to him, because they see him all the time. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. So they automatically gonna start saying he's my role model. You know what I mean? So they start emulating him or whatever. But so yeah, he ain't never trying to be nobody's role model. But you kind of can't help it when you're in a position of kind of, I say power, but it's not really power, but it's influence.
Mm-hmm.
It's a position of influence. So every major rapper out there right now is in a position of influence where kids are gonna look at them and say, "I want to do that dance he did. I want to wear them clothes he wore. I want to wear them shoes he wore." Right? They see it. They see all of that. You know what I mean? So they like, I want that car. I want those clothes. I want to do that dance. So can't help it but be a role model. You know what I mean? When it comes to that.
But going back to politics and hip hop, I was talking to a friend. I do another little podcast show, and we were talking about Public Enemy, and we were talking about how why particularly like white people like Public Enemy. We were talking about like how like Run DMC, like any paraphernalia with rappers. Talking about like the old school and stuff, which that kind of goes into my next topic. But they were talking about like people like wear Run DMC, like what I'm saying, like black people will wear Run DMC, but you don't really see a whole lot of black people. You do see black people wearing Public Enemy, but you see a lot of white people wearing Public Enemy. And so my friend asked, like, well, what's the reason behind it? I said, I think it's because of the message they had. I think what it was, especially talking about the politics, it's not that what Public Enemy was saying was new. I think it was the way they were saying it, the way they were conveying it, that made people kind of, okay, well, this makes sense. And, I think that's why you have like the heroes out of the, you got white people, idolize like the Public Enemy.
Right.
And honestly, NWA, Ice Cube, all that stuff. Because, what they said and how they said it, how they conveyed it. Because, folk music, they had anti-establishment stuff, anti-government.
Yeah, and it's a lot of white people who are just anti-establishment, and that's, Public Enemy was anti-establishment for the most part, so it made them feel like, wow, we can relate to that. But, and also, back to let me just touch real quick on the Kathy Griffin thing. They was talking about, and I agree, I think she did go a little far, but I don't think she should have been fired or, because, they were talking about the guy, Ted Nugent. He had said some things about Obama that was similar, and he's now invited to the White House. You know what I mean? So it's like nobody gave him no flack about nothing.
Yeah, it's a double standard.
It's like a double standard. So yeah, she might have gone far, but if you're going to do that to her, do it to him. Blackball him, give him flack. You know what I mean? Nobody gave him flack over that. So it's one of those things where that's why. I agree. She definitely did go a little far, but I wouldn't have fired her. You know what I mean? It was just I just told her don't pull no mess like that. It's a little too much.
Give us some leave without play,
right?
And then it's sad too because she was like, I'm not gonna be able to do anything. Like,
right?
Like, you're kind of right about that. I mean, not make fun. Shouldn't make fun of that. I'm sorry, Lord. We coming up too. And it's like we'll make us.
Look, I mean. Anybody who pretty much goes up against Trump, like Rosie O'Donnell, she ain't hardly got no place in TV no more.
Yeah, that is true.
And
that was before he was president.
Right. His money got some pull, so he'll make some calls and get you off of TV quick. So now that he's the president, he can just snap his damn fingers.
Yeah, and I think, and see, that's the thing. They, again, not gonna try to make this a super political show, but it's kind of like. Love him or hate him, with Obama, at least with him, people said some stuff against him. He at least shown some temperament.
Right.
And, with Donald Trump, it's almost like we're in a fascist society, like a dictatorship almost.
Yeah.
I mean, you used to call it what it is, but it's, it's really like dictate, like you got to watch what you say. You can't really, can't really express yourself, but one thing I will say about this election, you do have a couple of groups coming out. You got Tribe Called Quest, Joey Badass, Kendrick, I'm trying to think who else. I think Big Sean and Eminem talked about Trump a bit in their songs. Yeah, so I mean, I think that spark is coming back as far as like political politics and hip hop. Because there was a time like after probably like what Kanye West did, about George Bush and like black people. That was probably like the last time it really got political. Other than, I mean, I can I mean, if something did happen, I can't remember it. And then maybe people telling you to vote for Obama
Right.
in 2008. But other than that, I haven't really seen anything like as far as like like a political injustice or anything. I haven't heard anybody say anything about that.
Not that I can think of either. I mean, little light stuff, but I do think it still needs to be a voice with that. And Common is still carrying it on a little bit. He raps about injustice and all of that, and a little bit of politics, and so I think he's doing a good job of that. But it needs to be more than just him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need to have different perspectives. You know what I mean? When PE was around, you had PE, you had X Clan.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You had Lakim Shabazz. You had all these different rappers that was talking about injustice in politics and what we needed to do as a people to get better. You know what I mean? You don't really have that now.
No.
You really don't, because everybody's just like, I want to make my money. That's it. I want to make my money.
Which goes back to my next. Let's go to my next topic. The older rappers, the old MCs, not enough credit.
Oh yeah.
I was listening, and I'm not saying this like a lot of people take like, well, you got some of these young cats. They're like, well, the sound ain't the boom bap sound no more. However, you gotta grow up. You gotta, 2017, the music supposed to sound like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, what I'm saying? It's like, the South, and I'm happy that the South is dominating. It's just, I'm kind of like I said, I'm an older guy, and when I was listening to hip hop and stuff, I didn't really care about the coast or who produced, who did what. I think hip hop was more of a unity thing back in those days. And, if you were good at the craft, you were good at the craft. I don't care where you're from.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's just, and it kind of, even when I grew up, it kind of shocked me that, people were so against Outkast or, and Outkast was a great group from the South.
I never really had any trouble with them myself. I mean, and I'm from New York, but it's like, I think a lot of New York rappers, I think what happened was they wanted to always be at the forefront. And so when other areas started to shine, it was like, dang, they're taking away our shine now. We're not as popular as we used to be. So a lot of them got mad. You had people like Tim Dog coming out. And
Tim Dog!
Fuck Compton, you know what I mean? So it was just like,
nitty gritty.
Right.
Talk about a full ass shit.
So, it's stuff like that is just not even necessary. I think if you really think about it, it's just a mentality when it comes to hip hop. Because like a lot of the New York rappers who could be doing more right now but are not are still mad because New York is not doing as much as they used to. But look at people like Nicki Minaj. She's from New York. She's from Queens. And she raps like she's from New York. She don't have to try to have a southern accent or anything. But she just knows I make good music. I know what to do to make good music. And so I think if a lot of them would stop thinking about who's doing what and what's going on here, just get out there and make your music. Find your lane and make it. You know what I mean? We still have a lot more New York rappers to talk about. But right now, a lot of them, I think, are really just trying to say, well, they want to hear that South stuff. I'm going to fall back a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm not going to make too much music now, but people like Nas is one of the only rare few from New York who's still just keeping everything going, just saying, I don't care what everybody else is doing. I'm just going to do that.
And that's where I think that's where the respect comes in, because me personally, I don't care where you're from. If you do something authentic that's from you,
exactly.
That's you. That's how it should be. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about the the location.
Mm-hmm.
But I care. What I care about is what you're trying to get across, your message. Your skill level, what you're trying to take and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that's what I care about. I don't care about. I mean, you can be from the tip end of Florida or Texas.
Yeah.
If you got bars,
right?
Like dude, I'm supporting you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And,
Like,
when
I'm coming.
when NWA came out, I didn't care that they was from California, and I was living in New York. I was just like, I like what they're doing. They talking about the struggle, you know what I mean? You know, and then Ice Cube broke off and started doing his thing, and it was like, dude, he just rapping his ass off.
Yeah.
You know, you could not deny that man. You know, and so you had Dre, who was like one of the best producers ever. Easy was one of the, you know, most gangsters dudes you out there. Cube had the lyrics, you know what I mean? So it was like they had the slaughterhouse type package.
Yeah, they
had the
kind
total
of.
package.
Yeah, they were kind of like the. I guess in all intents and purposes, they were kind of like the first super group. If
Yeah.
you can really, if you really
So-
think about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back, I was actually on my other podcast. It's kind of funny how all this stuff's coming back to my other podcast. But we was talking about there's this group called War Porn Industries that they kind of did some stuff back in February. They released a free mixtape. It's actually pretty great. It's got Everlast, Jack Sicken, which is B Real's brother, and damn, I forgot the DJ's name. But man, that music is incredible, really incredible. And we were just talking about, you know, my friend was talking about like Everlast was on, I think Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
And he was talking about how, like, I hate to be the old guy in the room, but, you know, the older rappers really don't get any respect. And the thing of it is like, not to make it a race thing, but, like, white people, man, they like you still got kids to go to, like, Bon Jovi concert.
Yeah.
Fucking Zeppelin concert.
Yeah.
AC/DC. They like that shit. Like,
Right.
yeah, you know, like, even like the rock groups and stuff that come out today. Oh, let me get my man, you know, from Zeppelin. Or let me get my man over here. Or, let me get my man from, you know, Guns N' Roses. Get Slash and kick on the rock.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Aerosmith. They still like that shit.
Yeah.
But when it comes to hip hop,
No respect.
it's like niggas ain't gonna run around and be like, yo, I'm gonna go get that Digital Underground tour.
Right.
Like, yeah, that shit ain't happening.
Nobody-
Yeah, let's get Shock G on, like, you know, on fucking bars and on this, you know, this Migo remix. You're not gonna hear that shit.
It's like if the young dudes had any kind of sense, man, they'd be running to people like Dre, you know, saying, I need a beat from you, bro. You one of the best, or Premier or somebody, or you know what I mean? But see, because if you think about it, back in the day, rappers always gave it up to the people who came before them. You know what I mean? Nas always gave it up to people like Coogee Rap and Rakim.
Cool
You know,
shit.
and they gave it up to the people like Kumo D and that came before them. But nowadays, you know, they just look at the older guys like, oh, you played out, man. We ain't got no time for that. You had your time, then just move out the way. Let us shine for a minute. And it's like you should have your time to shine, but you got to give it up to the people who paved the way.
And
You know what I mean?
I don't necessarily mean like dick riding them and shit.
Right.
That's not what we're saying.
Exactly.
It's just saying, what I'm saying is like, you know, you got to pay homage and just say, and honestly, I will say, I will be a little devil's advocate. I mean, I think Karis One's like the worst at this as far as, you know, like he wants the respect, but it's like, I mean, he does have the respect. But to me, it's like, you know, it's kind of like super preachy. And then it's kind of like, it get people like, well, dang, you know, I ain't trying to do this because this old dude over here that they're telling me, like, you got to pay homage. And
Right.
I mean, you know, but you do have to respect what he did as far as what he did for the craft.
Right.
I mean,
Absolutely.
you know, but it just, I could, you know, but that's another thing too. Like I said, it's just, I think that the people like, hey, you know, I got my style from, you know, this,
Right.
or,
Right.
you know, if it wasn't from them, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have it, you know.
Yeah, you just acknowledge him. You ain't got to worship him.
Yeah.
You just acknowledge
Yeah,
him.
just about, yeah. I mean, it's going back to Outkast. Outkast, you know, could trace their whole success. They could trace it all the way back to African Bambaataa. It really,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? There's a few groups that really can say that.
Yeah.
And then going back, you know, these young guys trying to get that shine now.
Right.
I mean, yeah, get it, you know, and I mean, not trying to sound like I hate the young rapper or anything like that. I'm really glad, even though as mumbly and as confused and stuff it is, I'm glad they're at least out there doing that and not, most of them ain't running these streets or whatnot. I mean, I do hate the drug factor and all that stuff, but at least it ain't, at least they're trying to do stuff, for what they say is fun.
Right.
And they're trying to at least get out of that whole, the grimy and gritty element,
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you need that reality. Everybody can't be like Fawcett. Everybody can't be on pills and Molly's and Xanax. Everybody's not geared towards that. You gotta have other outlets.
Yeah, and if you think about it, the ones out today who are the most successful are the ones who have that respect for the ones who came before them. You look at J. Cole. I mean, dude be going platinum. You know what I mean? And he's one of the few out today that would say, if it wasn't because of Nas, if it wasn't because of such and such, or Kendrick, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Dudes like that, they give it up. They're like, if it wasn't for such and such, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. Eminem helped me get here, blah, blah, blah. He inspired me, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of the ones, who don't do that, they'll make one album, they'll sell a little bit of, get them money, and next thing you know, in 2 years, you don't hear nothing from them.
Yeah, and you forget about them.
Right. I mean, look at what's the dude that had the song "Throw Some D's" on that. You know what I'm talking about?
That Soulja Boy?
That wasn't Soulja Boy. It was somebody else.
But I heard that song before.
Yeah.
We kind of made fun of that stuff.
Yeah,
it was like macaroni kind of dry. Throw some cheese on
it. So it's like little dudes like that. You don't hear nothing from them no more. You know what I mean? Because they one-hit wonders. They make one halfway decent album, and they next thing you know, you don't know nothing about them.
And they're not wrong with one-hit wonder. I mean, even back in the 90s, and any era we had them, but it's just like, I think this market is oversaturated with it now.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just so much, and there's so much music coming out. Like someone explained to me, like, there's so much music coming out, like, in a week.
Right.
And it don't really last, like, some of this stuff don't even last a week. Right. They be on to the next stuff the next week.
Right.
So it's really kind of hard to, I commend Lamar and J. Cole to really be able to shine like they do now, because it's kind of tough when you got granted everything's kind of like shit, and they're kind of like filet mignon, but still, when you got a bunch of shit to choose from, you got a lot of people, they gonna get that shit, because it's kind of like the Mickey D's, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can't afford filet mignon or can't take filet mignon, but they can, they can go to McDonald's, get that, 2 for $2. Well, they're probably 2 for $3.
Exactly.
But you know what I'm saying? They can get that. So it's kind of like in the same way.
Yeah, that's true. You give them, an easier option over here. They're gonna keep choosing that easy option. So, it's definitely it's a crazy industry right now, but they phased out the record companies, so now a lot of artists is independent.
Yeah.
And they making more money. You know what I mean? They can make more money because they ain't got to pay the record company.
And it's more in their control, so they could put out what they want to. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why that's that the positive stuff is trying to come back. Mm-hmm. It's trying to make it spin around. I see it. I think in a couple of years, hip hop will be okay.
Yeah, I think because it's always going around in a circle. You know what I mean? So everything's gonna come back around. I think it's starting to right now. You know what I mean? It's going back to a little more lyrical stuff. You know what I mean? But it's gonna take some time. What other topics we got? We got anything else we got to talk about?
No, not really. We can let's talk about what I'm gonna do to talk about some stuff for next time. Next time I think we're gonna talk about battle raps. We're gonna talk about the like the scene, the battle rap scene, and we're gonna talk about like the battle rap songs, kind of like analyze like some of the top, like the classic ones. I think that's what we should talk about next time.
See, I can't be a battle rapper from today where they be all up in your face and you just gotta stand there. I'm like, dude,
I know, right? You don't get this work.
got your mother last night. You be like,
Yeah,
you
you
just
been
gotta
like,
stand
yo,
there.
you better get these hands.
Man, listen. But yeah, we definitely gotta talk about that next time. Shout out to my man Mario who couldn't be here today. You know, he got caught up in some things, so you know he's on a wanted poster somewhere. We'll catch him next time.
Yeah. So anybody, you know, if you put an APP, you know, what's it, APB, a bolo.
APB.
Not play, man. We gonna do that. All right. This is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed our show. Just hit us up on Facebook. Well, gotta get my page up and running, but we will do that sometime this week. I'll at least get a Facebook page started. And we're gonna try to get these episodes up on here.
That's real.
All right.
Thank you for tuning in. Triad Podcast. Peace.
Yeah, we good.
You good?
Yep.
I tried to record it, but I guess this app didn't record it. It probably only got a few minutes because it looked like it had already stopped.
Dang.
So I'm going to just put episode 2, Triad.
Episode 2 like that.
Episode 2, yeah.
I didn't want to ask y'all during the podcast, but what do you think are some of the top 3 main influences of mumble rap? Top 3 influences.
We might need to talk about that next.
Lil Wayne is one, definitely to
definitely
me.
Wayne.
He's definitely one, I think. You know, but that's a good topic to talk about. You know where it came from, but because see, when you think about it, he was one of the first few that was talking about leaning on the syrup and all of that, and pill popping and all of that, and so when you do all that stuff, you can't help but be slurred in your speech. You know what I mean? If you always
We had you. Well, you had you and GK and 666 Mafia do that thing.
Yeah, they do.
Sip it on some scissor.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily that's bad, but I mean, it's not like it's anything new.
Yeah, but you know, it's like that's where the whole role model thing comes in, because after the sipping on syrup came out, every kid was talking about it. What you doing this week? I'm sipping on some syrup. You know, come on, man. Now you doing that just because you heard it on the song. So it's like they can't help but be role models.
But I guess on top of that, how was gangster rap gonna do the handoff to the next generation? Like, was there supposed to be a handoff from gangster rap? Was there supposed to be a handoff from like Cool Herc, or anybody like that, to hand it off? Like, look, you know what I'm saying? I see where this is where music is going. Let's have this handoff, so we keep handing stuff off, because realistically, up until this point, we have like hip hop, but hip hop never really got that handoff from like jazz or anything like that. It just kind of showed up.
Yeah,
And before,
I mean, I think that some of the older rappers have to spend some time with some of the newer rappers and try to tell them to keep the traditions going. You know, I don't think that when you say hand off, do you mean like more so you take the baton and you keep it going? Is that what you mean?
like some kind of something, because it's never.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like in the history of the music for Black people in the United States, there has never been a handoff.
Yeah, it's like,
and what ends up happening is white people do that handoff.
Yeah, they
that's what I was
white
talking about.
That's
what I was talking about. Even though, honestly, and let me make this for the record, rock music is our music.
Yeah.
Do not get that shit twisted. Everybody's like, oh, I can't stand that white people rock. No, that's our shit.
That's our shit, bro.
That's our shit. Chuck Berry, rest in peace.
Right.
Real shit. But the thing of it is, they'll pass off that Zeppelins because that's the stuff that they want to hear.
Yeah.
And, you know, they like, hey, you know, kind of represent and reverence that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I mean, that stuff is good too. I mean, I like, you know, some of the rockers. I like the Zeppelins, the AC/DCs. I mean, I like that stuff. But at the same time, it's like, why do they deserve to, you know, be cool, and then like she got something that, like I said, outside of the Locks is really kind of like one of the few like older groups, and maybe De La Soul, few of the older groups that like people like flock to.
Yeah. Tribe Called Quest did really good on that album.
Yeah.
They just dropped that album and it sold really good, man, from what I heard. So, you know, I'm happy for them, man, because for them to be gone for so long and then just come out of nowhere and drop an album and it still sells, you know, that's good. You know, so we need that, man. We do need the older guys to spend some time. And I think that people like Nas, I think he does a good job of that because he's mentored people like J. Cole.
Data
You
East.
know what I mean?
I mean, not Data East. Dave East. I don't know why I said Data East. I was thinking about the video games. Against the shirt.
Data East was the shit.
Yeah, but
yeah,
Dave East.
so I think he's one of the only ones who really does that. Trying to really just inspire them to say, hey, let's keep this thing going. Let's not just let it die out. I think he did that on purpose. The whole hip hop is dead, just to say I want to light a fire up under you so you can say no. Wait a minute, no, it's not dead. Let me bring it back to life real quick. You know what I mean? He managed to do that because it kind of scared a lot of people into saying, okay, let me step my game up. You know what I mean? When he said the whole hip hop is dead.
And Kendrick did the same thing too with Control.
Yeah.
That's the thing. A lot of people are like, oh, well, this kind of generic, but yeah, I said, look, I'm just happy to see the fire back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For a long time, for a while, it was just like, man, you get tired of hearing the same shit. Well, yeah, it was getting stale, but like, and then he came back and just lit a fire up under everybody's ass.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have to work with this app a little longer because it looked like it only recorded like 5 minutes.
Yeah, they probably be like, well, to get 5 minutes more, you got to
right.
Oh yeah, you definitely gonna have to pay for it. But even if you pay for it, some of those apps are only gonna record for like half an hour.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I used to have one to record at least 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Can we at least 30
one on
minutes?
a phone or something like that that they were using at work, and it only recorded like half an hour. And the only reason being is because it had a limit, so that it didn't use up all the memory on the phone to do that type of recording.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's true.
How far we go today?
I think we ran like 40 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
I think we did like 30, 35 last time.
Yeah.
40 is good. Well, we keep it within that window. I at least want it. At least 35, like to an hour at least consistently. I don't want it to be like. I don't want it to be too long unless we do something really.
Who's doing the editing for y'all videos?
Huh?
Who's doing the editing for y'all videos?
Oh, we ain't really got no editing yet.
We haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah.
If y'all need
editing, do you know how to edit?
Shit.
Because you recording for us, so.
Yeah. Oh, we forgot, man. We got to shout you out, man. We appreciate it, dude.
Yeah.
Like really.
Yeah, we
really
do.
Really.
So
We don't want.